Good morning, students. We have already completed Chapter 4, the Consumer Protection Act. Once more, let us recollect what all things we have discussed from this chapter. Number 1, we discussed about the meaning of consumers. Then we discussed why this Consumer Protection Act has been passed. Then what do you mean by consumer exploitation? Then we discussed the different types of exploitation. Then we discussed the silent features of Consumer Protection Act. And then the rights of consumers have been discussed. And then one more thing I have just discussed. What all remedies a consumer is going to get from the buyer, whenever they are going to buy something, or from the seller when they are going to buy something, what all remedies they are going to get as per the Consumer Protection Act. This is what I already discussed. That means I have already completed from this particular topic, from this particular chapter, what all topic I am supposed to discuss as per the council syllabus. The council syllabus is already sent to you. You must have also seen what all things you are supposed to study from this particular chapter. Everything I discussed better. In today's class, just I am going to discuss briefly which all question and answer you are supposed to write in your copy. You have to write and learn those question and answer from this particular chapter. Basically, I discussed the questions what comes in the board examination in the previous years. Those questions only I discussed. But here I am going to discuss all these question and answers. See, short questions 1, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11 and 13. And the long answer question I have said only 8 and 9. Okay, brother? These are the things I am going to discuss in today's class. Already I have discussed a little bit brief. I will give it to you how you are supposed to write it. And for examination purpose, you just do this question and answer properly, better. Okay? So I am going to discuss these questions and answers in today's class. I have already discussed. Once more, just I want to give you a brief about this. Alright. So first question number 1. It is given there, brother. Give 2 reasons which indicate the need of the protection of the consumers. Now, why the protection of consumers are needed or required, I am going to discuss about that. Why the consumer protection is been required. Okay, wait, the first question. Give 2 reasons which indicate the need for protection of consumers. That means, I told you in the beginning, why Consumer Protection Act is been passed. So the Consumer Protection Act is been passed to safeguard the consumers from different kinds of exploitation. Point number 2, to educate the consumers about their right. They should know about their right. That's the very important points you can write it. Alright, brother. Next, I told you question number 3. Give any 2 features of Consumer Protection Act. Any 2 features they said. I told you the other day, when they said give any 2 features, means explanation is not required. You can write a time frame, inexpensive, social welfare law, whichever 2 points you want, you can write it. But if the question said explain any 2, then you please choose those. Yesterday class only I told you which you will be able to explain on your own beta. Next, if you come to question number 5, state any 2 rights of consumer. I told you in place of 2, at least 5 rights you must know. Okay, so right to choose, right to consumer education. There's so many rights are there. Right to be heard. All those rights are there. Any 2 rights which you can write on your own, you can write it. Okay. Next coming, question number 6. What is consumer exploitation? I told you, consumer exploitation. Here exploitation means not taking care of the interest of the consumers. That is what is called consumer exploitation. You are not taking care of the interest of the consumers. That is what is called consumer. So many times I told you what is consumer exploitation. And I had given you some examples of exploitation. Like I told you the other day, You are taking higher price for a particular product. You are mixing up something with the product and giving it to the consumers. There are so many types of exploitations are there. Next, question number 7. This is all known to you. Define the term consumer as stated under consumer protection. Who is a consumer? Like I told you, define consumer or who is a consumer. All of us know who is consumer. Consumer may be an individual, group, institutions, those who buy the product or hire the services for their own use, not for the purpose of resale. They are called the consumers. And I have given you the examples of all of the consumers. Then if you come to question number 8, beta, mention 2 remedies that are available to an aggrieved consumer under the Consumer Protection Act. That I told you. Remove the defect. Then return the money or return the product. There are so many remedies are there. The other day I told you, please learn it, remedy, you must know it. Suppose if there is any defect in the product, either the defect will be rectified or they will give you the new product. Second things I told you, if any hazardous goods are given to you and if there is any mishaps taken place, it is the duty of that particular company or the seller. Whatever mishaps took place, they are supposed to fulfill it. Got it? So they can remove the defect, they can give you the new product, they can give you the money back, and a lot of remedies are there. Next question number 9. Why was the Consumer Protection Act passed? Same thing. Why? This Consumer Protection Act basically passed to safeguard the interest of the consumers. This act has been passed to stop the different kind of exploitation done to the consumer. That's the main 2 things. Exploitation को घटाने के लिए और consumer को क्या करने के लिए बेटा? उसको right को you must take care of. That is why this particular act has been passed to safeguard them, to save them from the big businessmen. So many times I told you in the class better these things. Now come to question 11. What is meant by unfair trade practice? Give any 4 rights of consumers. Unfair trade practice. Unfair means whenever you are not doing the trade or buying and selling as per the rules and regulation of the country, when you are doing buying and selling in the wrong way without following the rules and regulations, that is what is called unfair trade practice. You are doing something unfair. You are doing something illegal way of doing the business. That is what is called unfair trade practices. Like I told you the unfair trade practices, beta. What is unfair trade practices? You are taking the money of A quality product and you are supplying the C quality product. It is a kind of unfair trade practices. Yes or no? Okay? An illiterate people have been to your place who cannot read. You are giving him a product of expiry one. It is also a kind of exploitation done to the consumers. Then the question asks you, give any 4 rights. So you know the rights. Just now I told you, give any 4 rights. Only rights you write, not explanation is not required. Okay. Next beta, 13. Why do we need the Consumer Protection Act? So many times, same type of question. Why the Consumer Protection Act has been passed? What is the need of Consumer Protection Act? See, that is very important. Why the Consumer Protection Act has been passed? I told you why. To safeguard the interest of the consumer and to save them from the different kinds of exploitation. Lot of things. Now coming to the 2 long answers. Question 8. Explain various types of consumer exploitation. Various types. Explain. Less weight, higher price, give the subheadings. Then mixing up something. Do you understand the point? Giving low quality of product. Doing restrictive trade practices. These are the examples of, consumer exploitations. I already told you what are the exploitations. I taught you in the class also. That time I told you you can take in your day-to-day life. That is what I am talking. Last, explain 5 main rights of consumer as provided to consumer protection. All the rights I told you. Explain here they said. Okay, right to choose, right to get reversal, okay, right to be heard, right to be informed, you understand? Right to consumer educations. So many points are there. Out of that, I told you 6-7 points I discussed in the class. Today also I have to write the points and explain 2-3 lines of these. Alright, that will be there. So from this chapter, these question and answers you are supposed to write in your copy. You read the full things, and according to me, these question and answers are important for the purpose of your board examinations. That is why I am telling you to write this question. Not that the question will come from here only. Question will come all from your syllabus, what has been prescribed by the councils. Alright, so from there I feel these question and answers are important for you to write it. So you write this question and answer in your fair copy and learn it. So that's end of chapter 4, and please do sincere studies of chapter 4. It is one of the most important chapter for your examination. So thank you so much for today.